Are you still doing manual weeding in your maize farm? Bado unapalilia mahindi yako? Then, if you still do manual weeding using those jembes and those forks, I've got some good news for you and some simpler way that you can manage to do weeding seamlessly and at low cost. Now, this is using selective herbicides for controlling weeds in maize farms. Now, for a very long time, most people have shied away from using these chemicals for very weird reasons. Okay, but this time around, I want to give you the other side of it. It's cheaper, number one. Yes, it's cheaper, and it eliminates you all those constraints and all those stress of redoing the weeding if it was done poorly. You find there are people you may give some work, and instead of weeding the farm thoroughly, lastly you find they've done a shadow work and you have to repeat it again. Plus, the destruction that they may do when they're weeding on their crops. Not even mentioning the effect of you do the weeding, then the rain subsidises, and then you find that your maize have started to dry up. Okay, so using selective herbicides tend to conserve your moisture in the farm by little disturbing of the soil, and this enhances faster growth. I'm gonna give you some like 4 best selective herbicides that you can use in your maize farm. And remember, before I give you this list, there are 2 types of herbicides that are used in weeding maize. There is the pre-emergence selective herbicides, and there is a post-emergence selective herbicides. Okay, so for pre-emergence, these are chemicals that you should apply before the seeds that you've planted germinate. Let's say like 2 or 3 days after planting. If applied after they have germinated, they all dry up. Okay, so some of these are like the kick out. So kick out is a pre-emergence. You apply it before they germinate. Then there is the other one that is post-emergence. So post-emergence, these are herbicides that you use after the crops have germinated. Okay, so you apply when the weed is around the knuckle height or around 15 to 30 centimeters. This one will kill all the weeds and leave your maize. And if you've done maize and beans combined together for the small scale farmers, there is also some selective herbicides that you can use. But today, what we are focusing on is selective herbicides purposely for maize alone. Okay, so these are for the farm that you've planted maize alone. We'll start with the best of them. Most of them, I believe you know them. And these others, maybe you know them. And top of the list is Governor 580 SC. Now, Governor 580 SC is a product of Green Life. It's very famous for most farmers. It's a pre-emergence and early post-emergence herbicide. It's designed to control both annual broadleaf weeds and grasses in maize field. It's also very effective for some resistant weeds and manages to clear all the weeds in your farm. Good thing is that you only apply 250 ml per 20 liters of water. The second one is Tinga 380 SC. This one is another good post-emergence selective herbicides for maize that you can use. You only need to apply 250 ml per 20 liters, and it's good for controlling both annual grasses and broadleaf weeds in maize. Remember, there are some of selective weeds herbicides that will only kill broadleaves and leave the annual grasses. But now for Tinga and the Governor, this one they eliminate both annual grasses and broadleaf weeds. The other one that is very, very common is Maguma 380 SC. This one will also help you clear both annual weeds and also the broadleaf weeds. Okay, and this one, it will also inhibit the emergence of weeds for an extended period of time. Okay, and you only need to apply 250 to 300 ml per 20 liters of water. The rate depends on the level of weeds infestation. The other one is 2,4-D Max 72 SL. This is a selective post-emergence herbicide used to control broadleaf weeds in maize, wheat, rice, and beans. Now, like I was saying with Governor, Maguma, and also Tinga, which control both annual and broadleaf. Now for 2,4-D, it only controls the broadleaf weeds. It doesn't manage to control the annual grasses. Actually, 2,4-D is used, that's why you've seen it's used on lawns, because it's hard for it to control the grasses. But for the broadleaf, the weeds, those one it will also control. Now that is the same with diamide 72 as well. Okay, it's also a herbicide that used both on pre-emergent and post-emergence, and it controls both annual and some perennial broadleaf weeds. Okay, but also for diamide, for grasses, it's hard for it to control. This one you only need to apply 120 to 150 ml per 20 liters of water, or even some 200. Okay, but for 2,4-D and diamide, these ones, they are not able to control effectively the grasses. Okay, those annual grass weeds, those one are not. But for broadleaves, it will control effectively. But if you want to eliminate all of them, both annual grasses and broadleaf or leaf weeds, then you have to use governor. It's very, very strong and very, very effective. And remember, it won't affect the maize. Okay, you also need to use the tinga tinga. It's also a very, very good effective one. And you can also use maguguma. Sometimes I usually even tell farmers, if you're applying them when it's raining, it's good also to add some sticker. You can add some Integra, or you can also add Aquavit. Now we usually call this sticker spreader. It will help in spreading the chemical applied, and also it will help to prevent this chemical being washed away in the event that it rains immediately after applied these chemicals. Now with these ones, it's cheaper. It's cheaper for you, the farmer. For example, in a piece of land where you pay people like 3,000, or let's say even half of it, 1,500, to do the weeding on maize, you only need like 2 pumps. So 2 pumps, it's around 500 ml, and this 500 ml will cost you between 500 and 600 shillings. So it saves you like 75% of it. And remember, it eliminates you the struggle of redoing the whole thing. And even in the event that you will still have to apply these herbicides again on round 2, it still saves you like 2,000 Gs around there. Okay, so applying this chemical, it's cheaper and it saves you time also. Yeah, assume it's been raining a whole week and the weeds are still growing. And some of these crops, especially the beans, if you do the weeding and you do the weeding while it's raining, you find that there is also the destruction of the crops, and the weeds also do not grow well, do not dry up well. So the best thing of all is you can opt out for this herbicide, and then when they are spraying, they should spray these selective herbicides well uniformly to avoid having some patches that the chemical didn't run. Okay, now on this one, nimekuchanua mkulima, avoid all those hassles za kupalilia na jembe and all that, and be mkulima smart and start using this. The funny thing is that these chemicals, they won't affect the maize. Okay, so you can try it out and give back your feedback. For the farmers who have been using these, we also love to hear your feedback. Tell us, among these chemicals that we've mentioned here, which one have you used? How have you seen the results? Do you have another one that you've used and you also like to recommend to farmers? Share out on the comment section so that we help empower and reach as many farmers as possible.